Hey everyone, I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be explaining a new game that's coming out this year that Illuvium has recently partnered with. I'm going to tell you a bit about the token, what the game is, why it matters, and if you should consider looking further into it and doing some more research. So welcome back. I'm Scoriox and I do the maths and you do the degen to get that sweet popcorn machine. Please leave a comment down below if you want a popcorn machine and what sort of brand you might get, or if there's some other treat making thing that you want to get in your life. Let's do it. Okay, so as many of you may know, this new project is called Fancy Birds. There's a lot to get into today, so please bear with me. I'm obviously going to leave chapters down below in case there's anything more important that you're looking for in this video. And as always, please like and subscribe so we can get this out to as many people as possible. As per usual, I'm going to be making some more Fancy Birds things in the future. So if you really want to look into that content, then please subscribe down below, and I'll definitely go into some more in-depth things, revenue distribution, all that sort of stuff. So first off, this project, how I found it, Kieran is actually a strategic advisor for it. You can find all of this information in the Medium articles. There's a bunch of Medium articles to go through. There are 6 or 7 of them. I've read through them all. I've taken them a bit apart. I've been in the Discord as well. And there's some really interesting things to go through today. And I'm really excited to share it with you. Okay. Some other investors on the project actually include Kane Warwick, the synthetics developer, and obviously the brother of Kieran Warwick, who is one of the co-founders of Illuvium with Aaron and Grant. Another angel investor is actually Santiago. Many of you may know them from the Illuvium team. They've been helping out a lot behind the scenes. They're a seed investor, and their background is in game design. So it's really good to have their aid on this project here. There's also many others, including some from Sushi, 1inch, ANKR, and Aave. All fantastic projects that I really like. And as we all know, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. And please always do your own research before you invest in anything or go in and buy any NFTs as well. I have lost money on NFTs personally, and I definitely know that everything can seem like a whirlwind. So just always take your time and research thoroughly. Okay. So let's start off with what the token means for Fancy Birds. Now, they use something called the FNC token, and this is majoritively a governance token. All right. It can also be used for all the in-game purchases. The game itself will be on Immutable X, and for those of you that don't know, it's a layer 2 solution on top of Ethereum that's pretty much doing stuff on Ethereum without gas fees. There's a lot of complex things that I could go into about why it's great, but the bottom line is no gas fees, use Ethereum. Great, everybody wins. Okay, there's not really much more to it. Okay, and for the Fancy Birds initial bird sale, and I'll go more into that in depth in a second, but they actually plan to do that sale on Immutable X. So if you're looking on getting some NFTs with no gas or very tiny amounts of gas, then this might be the NFT sale for you to look into. Because I believe these birds could actually increase in value, and I'll talk about that more in a second. So the other part of this token is that there's staking, much like with Illuvium staking. Now let's quickly have a look at that. Here is the staking. Okay, currently the APR is 830%. Now you might be asking, what is APR as opposed to APY? And that was my first question as well. Okay, now sadly I can't actually remember what the R stands for. Y is for yield and R is for return, maybe. I think annual percentage return. Anyways, the bottom line is in Illuvium, when you claim a reward, so you say you claim 1 ILV, that 1 ILV also earns rewards on top of it. That is reinvested and earns staking rewards. With the Fancy Bird staking, that is not the case. Okay, any rewards you claim do not earn their own rewards. It's only the initial amount you put in and any future stakes you add from outside of the protocol. Okay, so this doesn't reinvest itself, which doesn't sound so good, But honestly, it's a bit of a zero-sum game, because what ends up happening is, say you put in one token and then you claim one token and now you've got 2 tokens invested. But if everyone's doing that, then eventually the pool gets really diluted. But if everyone has to buy tokens and then invest them, it doesn't get as diluted. So the APR would actually stay a lot higher for a lot longer than in the case of Illuvium. Okay, I know that's a bit hard to understand, but let me come at it from a different way. So these tokens don't reinvest. I was going to say something. But what that means is that anyone that needs to invest tokens actually has to add buying pressure to the FNC value. And I won't go through the FNC price action because it hasn't been live for very long. But let me just say it's gone 3x in like 2 weeks. So it's done a bit of a pump. If you do want to get in now, I might consider waiting. Even leave a comment and I'll try and do some quick analysis and get around to that very soon. Okay. But yeah, so if anyone wants to stake, then they have to buy the token and then all the token value is going to go up. In Illuvium, it's not quite the case. Whenever they're restaking, all they're doing is claiming and it's not really adding buying pressure. It works a bit different in that way. Okay. Now, when it comes to claiming, you go up here and you go to your rewards. Okay. This is what I've got after 2 weeks. I'm almost at a 50% return, which is insane. So after a month, I pretty much have my initial return, but anything I claim as FNC tokens will be locked for 12 months. It won't be vested, it won't earn rewards, it will be locked for 12 months and I cannot grab it until then. However, much like Illuvium, you have a synthetic FNC, as you can see here. You can claim as FNC or synthetic. Sorry about that. You can claim as either, okay? And this synthetic FNC can only be used in FNC game, okay? But the Medium articles have actually revealed something quite interesting in this regard. Not only will it burn FNC, similar to SILV, however, they've mentioned that they plan on having it have extra weight to provide incentive to claim it. So it won't just have the buying power of FNC. Now, this could mean a variety of things. Either, let's say FNC is worth $1 and then SFNC might be worth $2 when buying things in the game. What I think is more likely is you'll have skins and things that you can buy from the shop, but you're only allowed to buy them with SFNC. Okay? This would provide incentive for people to stake if they want to get those rarer skins or those things in the game that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get. And it creates incentive for players and people who are interested in the game. So I think that would be a really interesting way to do it. But up till this point, we don't quite know how that's going to work. Now, just some other things about the tokens is 10% of supply is being sold in seed rounds. That includes the Copper launch and a pre-seed fund. Which is, so the total supply of the token is 1 billion. Which means that if it had the same market cap, okay, as Illuvium, pretty much right now, and all the tokens were launched, only about 10% of them are launched at the moment, then the token value would be $1. Okay, if it had 1 billion supply, 1 billion market cap, and all the tokens were in circulation, then that'd all be worth $1. Okay, currently they're close to a $1 value, but only 10% of the tokens have been released. So we've got there's a lot of growth to happen in this, and I would call this a micro cap, which means you should definitely be cautious when going into a project like this. Very easy to lose all your money. Never invest more than you are willing to lose. Okay, and always be careful. But I will be trying to help out everyone as best I can. There are lots of risks with a project like this. Just consider that. Okay, now we're going to jump into the more interesting stuff. Let's jump into the gameplay. Now I'm going to start us off with there's this here. So this just shows the token supply. Okay, as you can see, in-game rewards, actually this one's quite interesting. The in-game rewards make up about 40%. So the yield that's given to players playing makes about 40% of the total tokens, which is actually quite a bit of tokens. Okay. Definitely going to be interesting for the players, but at some point this could run out. I don't know the specifics of that, but nothing like this. Money doesn't come from nothing. But this also has revenue distribution like Illuvium. Forgot to mention that. 100% of revenue goes to the staking token holders, like Illuvium. And this is the only reason I am interested in this project and talking about it. Illuvium has partnered with it. Many of the developers and founders of Illuvium believe in it and are helping it and being strategic advisors. And it has revenue distribution, which I think is one of the ways. I don't think it's perfect and it might have a bit to go. I think it's one of the ways to create sustainable play-to-earn mechanics. Currently, most play-to-earn games are extremely unsustainable, but they're all working towards that future. So that's why I think this project has a bright future, but I don't think it will be instant. I don't think it'll be perfect from the start. It will definitely have hiccups. So if you're very risk averse, be very careful around something like this. Okay, now I'm going to show you something cool. Here is the first sneak peek. Many of you will definitely recognize this. Okay, I'm going to turn on the volume because it bugs me a little bit. I hope you have customizable sounds, which would be pretty cool. Many of you will recognize this. It is Fancy Birds. I mean, it's Flappy Bird. So let me just really quickly chat about Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird, it got 50 million downloads in 8 months. Okay, it became the top grossing app in over 50 countries for a substantial amount of time, for several months. All right, it was removed from the App Store because the founder thought it was too addicting. He also got death threats and all sorts of things, and he made more money than he could ever need from advertisements, which I don't think are going to be in this game. But honestly, I'd like to be proven wrong. I would like there to be put ads in there. Okay, the ads then fund the in-game rewards, which then in turn funds the players playing the game. So the ad revenue would actually go to the players. I think that would be really interesting. Okay, another thing is people sold, once Flappy Bird was removed from the App Store, people sold their phones for a profit. They sold their old phones just because it had Flappy Birds on it. I was around for that whole thing. I loved playing Flappy Bird personally. I got decent at it, but I was no master or god or anything. And I'm excited to play this game as a nostalgia trip at a very minimum. And that's actually what the founders have in mind for this whole thing. Okay, so Flappy Birds is starting it off, but they plan on having a suite of arcade mini games, and they've likened it to something like Miniclip. I don't know how many of you played it, but they're just really simple arcade style games in the browser. You can play them and have some fun, and a lot of them are co-op and things as well. Okay, so that's what they're trying to achieve here. Another thing that should be worth noting is this game, at least they said in their Medium articles, all of this is subject to change, but this game will be free for anyone to play. It's my understanding that only the NFT holders can earn money. Okay, so say you get on the game and you haven't bought a bird in the Genesis sale, which I'll talk about in 2 seconds. Say you get on the game, you can probably play, tap away, get a high score or whatever, but you will get no in-game yield at FNC unless you own an NFT to play the game with. Maybe skins are included, highly doubtful. I think you need a bird. But yeah, so anyone can play it, even if that's as a tutorial. Maybe you go, oh crap, I'm really good at this game. Maybe it will show you an estimated revenue. If you owned a bird, that would be really interesting. You'd be like, oh crap, I would be earning $20 every day from playing this. Maybe I will buy a bird for $300-400 or whatever people are selling them for. Okay, so you will have that option. Now, let's get to the details of the NFTs. Okay, I have no idea when the sale will be. I'm hoping sometime at the end of January, but there will only be 8,888 Genesis birds sold. Okay, about 30% of them will be from whitelist sale, so only the whitelisted people can get onto that. And there are actually lots of spots open. So you jump in the Discord, I'm sure they have many ways for you to earn. They put up art competitions, chat level up, there's an ambassador program. There's lots of things to do to try and get yourself enabled as a whitelist. Okay, so there's always that option. Now, the rest are for the public sale, which is going to be 5,088. For comparison, a lot of the NFT art projects are about 10,000 portraits. So something with heaps of utility, art project, lots of demand for both. You never know. This could go really, really well. It's hard to gauge the demand, but when they're partnering with people like Illuvium, I suspect a lot of people are going to be trying to get onto this, okay? Now, the breeding is one of the more interesting parts of this project. Currently, breeding is going to be enabled in the game, but I'm a huge fan of the way they are doing this, okay? Only the Genesis birds, which are the ones released in this initial sale, can be bred, okay? So no other bird can be, you can't breed and then every single bird breeds and every single bird breeds. Only the Genesis ones can breed and they have a limit. At the moment, they're discussing 4 per month. Given you need a pair to breed, it's more like 2 per month per bird, okay? And this means that only, I wrote it here somewhere. Damn it. I think it was only 17,666 birds can be bred in any given month, okay? From my really quick calculations, and I'll go more in depth in this in the future, so please subscribe down below. And I really appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, comment if you want to see more of this content. Comment if you want to see less of this content. I really love to know. I'd really love to see. But basically, less than 200,000 birds could be minted in any given year. That's that. There's nothing else beyond that. Okay? Although you can buy skins and things, so there's definitely lots of revenue opportunity beyond the bird breeding and selling and secondary marketplace and things like that. But less than 200,000 can be bred in any given year and be used to earn in-game revenue, which is actually really interesting statistically, and I'm definitely going to look into that. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. Trust me, it's going to be really interesting. Okay? But now let's bring this back to the Flappy Bird analysis. 50 million downloads in, what did I say, 8 months. And you can barely mint 100,000 birds for 8 months. Okay? 100,000 birds, potentially 50 million people wanting to buy a bird. That's a big, big gap. Okay? So if you want to try and get in the whitelist, definitely recommend giving it a shot. I don't think this is going to make you a millionaire overnight or anything. Definitely do your own research, but it's a really interesting concept and a really interesting project. Okay? You'll also have other ways to earn in the game. This is through PvE and leaderboards, and there will be a daily and weekly mission for all the players to help you earn that in-game FNC. And if it was me, I'll be restaking it to earn all the RevDiz. You guys know that's my thing. The other thing is there are actually PvP live multiplayer races, which has daily and weekly tournaments as well. And that's going to be super interesting. I'd love to play in that sort of stuff. Although, if anyone has played Flappy Bird and gotten to like 1,000 high score before, it could take you like several hours to get there. So this is going to be really interesting overall. I'm hoping they do something more fascinating with the multiplayer races. Maybe it speeds up over time or something to force a player to get out. But again, there are risks. I'm going to cover a few of them off now. The in-game rewards will eventually decrease. I don't know if they're adding things in their tokenomics to try and prevent this from happening, but this is a very likely scenario. I don't know how fast they release it, how much you can get at any given time, but eventually if they're all given out, no one's earning them, the token price will obviously dip as well. So there's lots of risks here, but we'll have to see how they go about these systems in the future. If there's no demand for the game, then the game will, I wouldn't say fail. They have lots more things in the works than just Fancy Birds, but it will certainly hurt the token. It will certainly hurt the players trying to earn from it. And if there are too many players playing the game just to earn and not because of the game itself, that could be quite dangerous. So definitely keep that in mind. But my biggest problem with this is the possibility of botting. I know people had already generated bots for Flappy Birds. How hard would it be for them to port it over? I'm not sure, but I can't imagine it be particularly difficult. Unless the team has a really effective way of preventing people from botting and gaming the system, this could spell a lot of disaster and a lot of trouble for the ecosystem. So I'm definitely waiting on hearing news on that. I'm definitely trying to get interviews with the founders and things. And I want to discuss that further among all the other gameplay aspects and future games that they have in store. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you really liked the video. It was a lot of fun to make and a lot of fun to do the research into this project. Just so you know, I read all the Medium articles, went through the Discord for quite some time before making this video, and everyone else should always do the same. Whenever you're looking at a new project, do as much research as you can until you feel like you know the project back to front. It's very important before you invest in anything. Again, not financial advice, and hope you guys all have an awesome day. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you'll watch that next video up in the top right hand corner, or don't, but I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.